Good day and welcome to the second video in the logo design series of the graphic design bootcamp organized by STEM Colors Club, Ahmadu Bello University. In the first video, we talked about logo design, the types of logo and the components of a logo, and then the logo design process. In this video, we are going to be looking at the Adobe Illustrator interface and the tools you can use as a logo designer to design your logos. Once you open the Adobe Illustrator software, you will get an interface similar to Photoshop, right? You hit on create new and then it's going to open up this dialog box where you get to select the size. You can go to print, film, video, art and illustration. So you're just going to go with 2000 by 2000 pixel. I'll change the color mode to RGB. You guys know why. So I'll hit on create. So I'll have a new and blank page, right? So these are the various tools we have in Adobe Illustrator, just like the Photoshop. Here you are going to find your layer somewhere here. This is where your layers are, right? And then these are the properties of the layers. So it also has tools like move, selection, which we all know they are used: direct selection, pen tool, curvature tool. Okay, let me talk about the curvature tool first, right? Or the pen tool. Oh no, the pen tool, you just click and then you just keep on clicking, and then when you close it, you have created a shape, right? You can go to the properties here and you're going to see the properties of this shape. This is the stroke. It has a white fill and a black stroke. If you want to increase the size of the stroke, you can just increase it and then you can see it. This is the fill. When you change the color, you can see it. If you don't want any fill, you can just click on this, and that means you only have an outline. So this is how you create illustrations and stuff. And then if you click and then you click and hold, it's going to create a curve for you, right? So you click, you can see it's creating curves. When you click and you hold and drag, it's going to create right, it's going to create curves for you. So that is what the pen tool does. And then the curvature pen tool, similar to that, but then in this case you just click, 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 and then click, right? Then you can come back and adjust the places you have clicked, right? You can see how it works. So that is the curvature pen tool. And then we have the shapes tool. You can see them, the ellipse, right? Polygon, star. Then when you hold this one, then you can see it will create a star for you. When you hit on the up and down key on your keyboard, it's going to increase the number of sides in the star. So you can see it. You can use it to create cool stuffs. You can see it. So this is what it does. And then you have the line. Just use it to draw line. If you hold shift, it's going to give you a straight line. So you can use these lines to create grids and use in your logo. We are going to get to that and you're going to see it practically. Have the paint brush. This one is when you want to do some painting. You have the typography tool to use to create text typography for your logo, right? This is the tool you use. When you click, it gives you an option to write what you want to write. Maybe I want to write my name Muhammad. closer this, right? Then I'll select the move tool and see that you can increase and decrease the size. But then if you notice something, the shape is going to get distorted if you increase it. Unlike Photoshop, you just hold any corner and then you drag, it's going to increase it proportionately. But you can see here it's going to distort the shape. You need to hold shift here. If you hold shift, it's going to increase and decrease proportionately. This is what I'm saying. You can see it now. So if I'm going to resize this without holding shift, you can see how it goes. You can see it's distorting the shape, but when you hold shift, it's going to increase and decrease accordingly. So, and then this is where on the properties tab you go down, you are going to see where you have the font. This is where you select type of font, right? Yeah, and then we have discussed all these tools, right, from Photoshop. We have the rotation tool, the eraser tool, shape builder. So this shape builder is one important thing which you are going to need as a graphic designer or as a logo designer. So let's say we have a rectangle, we have this rectangle, right? And then we have another one, something like this, right? So you want to you can see there are different rectangles, but let's say you want to make them to be one rectangle, to be one shape, right? So you select both of them and then you hit on the shape builder, right? Let me see from here, trying to find the shape builder. Okay, yes, it does not have a shortcut there, right? So basically once you select the shapes and then you come, let's say you want to remove this part, right? So when you hold on Alt and then you just click and drag, it's going to remove this part and then it's going to merge the shapes. You can see them now, they are one shape, and then you have removed the center part. So this is what the shape builder does. But assuming you don't want to remove the central part but you still want to join them, right, still select it and then you can see it's showing you different parts. So if you just click across all of them, that means it's going to join all of them to be one. You just click and drag, so it has built a new shape. You can see this is an entirely new shape now. So the shape builder is very, very important, right? And also have the gradient tool. You have the eyedropper where you pick color, and other tools here we have. So I will just go into my computer and then I'm going to bring one or two logos. We assume that they are our sketches, like from the logo design processes. When you have your sketch and now you want to just illustrate it, let's see how we do that, right? So there are a lot of ways you can do that, but let me show us the first way. Okay, let's use this example, right? Let's say this is your sketch. You just click and drag your sketch into the Illustrator, right? Then now you would want to trace it, right? Assuming this is a sketch, so you would like to lock this layer, or maybe you would like to decrease the opacity so that you would like to decrease the opacity. So you go to properties and you decrease the opacity down so that you'll be able to see what you're actually doing, right? And then you need to lock it so that when you are drawing over it, it doesn't get selected. So you go to object and you say lock. This is where you can also group objects. maybe you select multiple objects and then you group them. So we are going to lock, and then you say selection. So it's going to lock this layer that we have selected. The shortcut is Ctrl 2. So you can see now we cannot select it. So even if you are drawing, you are safe. So we'll zoom in so that we have a clear picture. Right, let's bring out our ruler. You go to view, so you have ruler, show rulers. The shortcut is Ctrl R. So it just give you a guide. You can just click and drag a ruler to the center of your sketch. We are assuming this is a sketch, right? So this is it. So I will just want to draw half of it, and then it will complete the half for me. But if you want to do it all the way, you can still do it. So what I want to actually do is I want to actually show you how to trace. Right, you have your logo sketch and you want to trace it. You just got your pen tool. Right, so let's start with this half. You start like this, and you see you can come here and then you click and drag. Right, then you click here, so it will give you the next point. Then you come here, and then you click and drag again, so it will follow the path, the sketch you have. Right, you have something like this. So like I said, I just want to do, I will do half of it, since the logo is from our basic element of design and principles. We have balance bar. So, and this one is symmetrical. What on the left is exactly on the right. So you can just decide to do half, you duplicate it, and then you have the other half. So I will just close this. So I'm done with this part. Then I'll come to the next one. I start here, then I will just come here where it ends. Sometimes your sketches might not be perfect, so when you are trying to do the actual illustration, that's when you fix all those stuffs. Right, so you have created your first line, you click, then now you want to do this one, and then you see you cannot see what the rest of your sketch. So you can always come to the opacity and then you reduce it so that you'll be able to see your sketch, and then you click and drag. You click and drag, right? Make sure it follows your sketch, then you click, and then you click and drag to close your shape. So you can increase the opacity since you are done. And then the last part here, right? You can start from here all the way down here, and then click drag until you have your sketch perfectly aligned. Then you click to close that part, and then click here and drag until it gives you, it aligns with your sketch perfectly. Right, something like, yeah, something like this. So you can just see that we have this half of the logo. You can just select it, right, and then you can duplicate it by Ctrl C and Ctrl V, right? Or you can use Alt. Remember from Photoshop, you Alt and click, then you drag it. You can see you have another this thing. So let's Ctrl Z. So we have this. Then you right click, and then you say transform. This transform is very, very important. Then you say you want it to reflect, just like a mirror, right? And you reflect. To ask you, do you want it to copy it, right, or to just use this particular one and reflect it? So we just hit on OK. So you can see it has reflected it. And all you need to do now is move it and align it perfectly here, the center, right? Yeah, so you can see that it's not perfectly aligned. So you can select this and then you can just decide to remove or move your guide, your ruler, so that you see. Well, actually locked the guide, so you go to view, guide, and then unlock guide. So now you can actually select it and move it. So you can see that from your sketch you have gotten something like this. If you are not satisfied with the result, you can always adjust. Maybe select this and then you just move it a little bit in. Yeah, something like this. This is perfect from your sketch, right? And then you can see that there are parts, and then maybe you want to make this a single shape. Now remember the tool I told you about. You select everything and then you go to the shape builder tool. So you can see these are two different shapes, but when you click and drag over the two of them, they are now one shape. So you do the same thing for this one too. They are now one shape. Yes, you can do the same thing for this. They are now one shape. So you can see you have this, right? And then you have this. So this is your logo. You can select everything and then you group it. So this is our logo. You can just resize it down, holding shift, so that we will add our text. Right? Yeah, so you just go to your text tool and then click, then you write Olam. I think that's what's written there. Then you select, hold shift, right? You want to align it to the center, so you can bring your ruler center, you drop it, and then the Olam, you can go to the layer properties, you can change the font from your character here, select. Okay, I like this, I'll use this. I'm just trying to show you example. You align it perfectly to the center, right? So you see, just like that. That is one way to convert your sketches into a logo. So like this, you have your vectorized sketch. If you want to add color, you can always change the fill. You can see. And then if you want to select individually, since they are a group, when you select using this selection tool, it's going to select the whole group. But if you want an individual selection, you can use the direct selection tool, right? So you can see it has selected only this one, and then maybe you want, yeah, this shade of green, something like this, yeah. Then you select this one too, want it to have the same shade, sorry, this. So you can just select this one and then use the eyedropper, and then you click, it will copy the color of the one you clicked. And then using the direct selection, you can also select this and this, holding shift, and then give them different color to be darker, something like this. So you see, just like that, you have created your logo. And let me show you what we mean by vector. like we said earlier. So no matter how you zoom, this shape is not going to get pixelated. It will still look sharp. You can see it's still looking sharp. If it was Photoshop, as we continue to zoom in, to start getting blurry. So that is one way to sorry, I'm supposed to select this one. Did I do? So select, let's keep this aside. I will go back to my object. I will unlock all. Now let's delete this, and then let's look at another method. Okay, let's use this one, right? Let me drag it into the Illustrator. So let's say this is your sketch also, right? You want to turn it, the opacity down, right? And then you go to object, you lock the selection, right? So you're going to use the line segment. Hold down shift, it does have a line. Let's give it a stroke of 3 is cool. So you're going to just align it with your sketch. I'm going to duplicate this line like this, then I'm going to rotate it. Sorry, I will hold Alt, then I'll click and drag, and I have a duplicate, and I will hold Shift by the corner, and then I can click and rotate it 90 degrees like this, right? And I will drop one here. Make sure you are following your sketch. Then you duplicate this, right? Keep it here, and then you can select both of them. Then you just duplicate them, and then you bring it here. Yeah, you can also duplicate this again, this time around, and you hold on the edge shift, and then you rotate it so that it will go like this, and then we are going to drop this here. Yeah, and then we are going to still hold Alt, or you Control C and V, you copy this, and then we are going to drop it here, right? You are trying to use grid lines, right, to achieve what you want. So now I will select one of the lines, right? So I still need to select these two, right? And then I will duplicate them by holding Alt, click and drag, and then I'm going to reflect it. I will right click, and then I will transform, reflect, so it will turn the other side. Hit on OK, and then I'm going to bring it here so that I have this place covered too, right? But you can see that from the way I'm arranging this, it's going to show you that the sketch is imperfect, so I'm trying to make it like work now, right? That's why you have the Illustrator. So we copy this one too, and then we drop it somewhere here, right? And then I'm going to copy this, then we are going to drop it somewhere here. So now you have created all your grid. You just need to select everything, right? And then you go to your shape builder. Actually, it's an important tool. So you want to select all these ones and make them one shape, right? So you just click and you follow the shape like this, right? Sorry, I'll undo that. zoom in. Yeah, there is a little bit of alignment issues with the line. This is supposed to align here. Let's continue. So yeah, we have this, and you go like this. Want it to go like this. So you have created your first shape. So you can see it has created the first shape. It's there, but because it not apply fill, you are not going to see it. Then the second shape is this one that goes like this. So you select everything, go like this, like this, like this, and then you have that one too. So when you zoom out and then you use your selection tool, just click outside, then you come back here, you can see it's selecting the shape we just created. And you can give it a fill so that you actually see it. Let's give it a black fill so you can see it. Let's select the second one too, fill black, so you can just select both of them, then you can copy or move them. Let's copy. So you can see that just like that you've created your, you've used grid lines, right, to create this particular look. But just like I said, you have to be very careful with your alignment. You can see that we didn't perfectly align this line, so you can see that it's giving us a little bit of edge around here. We are not supposed to get that. So so this is another method right here, right? So and then one cool thing is you can have like multiple artboards so that you can try out different concepts, right? So if I go to layers, layers, right? So go to layers, properties. This is my layers, these are my layers. So you can see a lot of layers. Every line you bring in forms a layer of its own. So you can go to artboards. No, so I guess I didn't create an artboard when I started. So let me show you this work I was watching. So you can see you have different artboard where I tried different stuffs, right? So let me go to my layers. Okay, yeah, so let's go back, go to properties. You see edit artboard, right? So when you hit on this plus icon, it's going to create another artboard for you. So it's on the properties tab. You can add as many artboard as you want. So with these these are the few methods you can use. You can also use circular grid. You see here we use line grids, right? But assuming you want to do maybe something like this, let me see. So assuming this is our sketch, so we are going to zoom in, right, and then we are going to turn down the opacity, and then we are going to edit object. We are going to lock this selection, right? So you can just go to your shapes, go to your shapes, select ellipse, and then yeah, from your can just do that, and then can duplicate it, and then this time around you are going to remove the fill, right? And then you leave the stroke, then you increase the size holding Alt and Shift. You want to get this big circle, right? Hold Alt and Shift. Let's see if this fits. Yeah, I think something like this works. I will select them both and I will make sure they're aligned to the center like this. Yeah, and I'm going to duplicate this one again, right? Then I will hold my Alt, you can see it duplicated, and I'll hold Alt and Shift, so I'll scale it down. I want to get the second cycle, right? So you can select all of them and then again make sure that they're aligned to the center, right? And then you can just go ahead, get your line. This is just a straight line, right? So you just hold Shift and then you get your straight line. You also have lines here, right? So you just line and another line and then another line. Then you also have this. I'm holding Shift so that I get angles, right? You can see they didn't use it was, maybe he followed the sketch or something, right? So you can also do that, or if you want to get a more perfect angle, you can hold Shift. It will rotate between 45 degrees, right? You see 90, 45, 90, 135, 180, like that, 225, and then you have 270 and 360 like that. So let's just go with what we have here. Let's make it align. So you can see that I have created this outline. All you need to do now is select everything, go to your shape builder, then you select everything here like this, and then you have this perfect shape. All you need to do is select it and then give it a fill color, and that is when you are going to see it. So I've created this and this. For you to create this, you can simply use your pen tool, or you can still use the line grid to get it perfectly. And I will remove the stroke. I don't need any stroke for this. Now when you use the line grid lines, it's going to give you a more perfect and accurate shape. So you can see with that, so all this we are assuming this is our sketch, right? So we've done this. You just need to select them and then we copy them away from our sketch, so I will see how they look. If you want to give them color, you go to your fill, you give them color, and then you can remove the stroke. You can see it still has this stroke. You can remove that, yeah, like this. And then if you want to apply gradient, you can use the gradient tool. Then you apply your gradient, right? This is it. If you want to change the color, you double click, sorry, and then you can select the colors you want. Yeah, this looks cool. Yeah, I think this is not black, right? Okay, it's black, so let's get a darker shade of blue, something like this. So you see, I love this. Go back to my selection, so I will select this, and then for this I will just decide to give it a fill, something orange. If you have a color code you want to use, right, you just come to this place, double click, and then you put in your color code here, the exact color code you want. The color code, if you want black, everything here will be 0, going to be black. You can see it. That is the color code for black. For white, it's F. You fill here with F, you are going to get white. So different colors have different color codes. So you see, we are done with this. All you need to do is add in your typography and then adjust between the space between. Just make sure that everything is balanced and proportioned. So this is just a very quick introduction into Illustrator and some of the tools, right? So in the next video, which is going to be the last video of this series, we are going to get an actual sketch, because I just brought in some logos. I assumed they are sketches, right? And then we use them, we refine them, and we replicated them using different methods. We use the pen method, where you use pen to go over your sketch, and then you can use grid. Here we use circular grid, here we use line, rectangular grids, right? So there are lots of methods you can use to design logos. There is the golden ratio, where you use circles. You can use it for design like Twitter, just as an assignment. You should research on golden ratio and how it is used, so you get to know what golden ratio is and how it is used to design logos. There are just, yes, golden ratios. They can be golden set of rectangles or golden set of circles. You can use any of them to design your logo. So this is just a quick introduction to the Adobe Illustrator software. In the next class, which is going to be the final class, we are going to bring in a sketch, and then we are going to start, we are going to vectorize it, and then we are going to export it into Photoshop, where we are going to do the rest of the brand identity design. We'll design the color palette, we'll design some stationeries, letterhead, business card, and some other stuffs. So for now, I hope you are going to practice, make some sketches, bring them into Photoshop, and then illustrate them. Then you can send them to our Telegram group, where we can see and give you feedbacks, right? So thank you for watching this video, and I wish you good luck. So that is that for now.